Welcome and good morning, everybody. It is Morning Coffee with Rob, RE-Brewed. Sorry we don't have all the cool intro video things that we wanted to do. We had a lot of cool stuff that we wanted to bring in, but some minor technical issues, so we're just starting off where we can. So once again, thank you for joining us. This is our new season and new episodes. If you were with us about a year ago, maybe a little bit more now, we were doing these and we didn't really have a lot of direction. So we've decided to hit the restart button and redo it all. As you can see behind me, we've got a nice brand new multi-$1,000 studio. Actually, I don't even think it's even that much. It's basically just like stuff I've collected over the years. Books that I enjoy reading, which I guess are on the other side here. Some figurines up at the top, whiteboard, dollar store calendar, just things that we had kicking around and wanted to kind of build something out with. So it's what we decided to go with this year and to see what we could potentially do with everything. Like I said, now that I have a new direction on everything, instead of just technically sitting in front of the camera and just yakking my face off, this is actually going to hopefully be a better direction, and I'm just kind of showing as proof that you can start from anywhere and get to where you want to go. So you don't actually have to have all the right perfect conditions to move forward. You can just get going and start getting what you want. And yeah, that's kind of what we're starting to do with right now. I'm not sure how long any of these episodes are ever going to be. As you can see right now, we're only a couple minutes in, and you never know. Maybe we'll get to the half-hour mark. Maybe we won't. I don't know. Like I said, we're just starting back out, so we will see as we go along. When I first started doing these, I was trying to do live sessions every day, and literally it was like every day for a while, and it got to be quite a bit. They were only about half hour to 45 minutes, which was kind of cool. But like I said, it was typically just me yakking at the camera and kind of hoping for the best. This time around, I do have a bit more of a focus to go with. So this one's going to be kind of like a reintroduction to who I am, and then talking about restarting and moving forward from there. Because that's obviously what I'm in right now, is a restart mode as well. So that's what we're looking at, going to be talking about today as well. I've said as well quite a bit, so I'm going to try to cut that out. But the point here, I just wanted, like I said, introduction. So I'm Rob. I come from you in the beautiful interior of British Columbia, Canada. Absolutely amazing place to be and live. So much beauty. There's tons of mountains, lakes, lots to do. If you're a boater, you can go boating, fishing, paddleboarding, kayaking, hiking, mountain biking. In the winter, there's cross-country skiing, snowshoeing, and we don't live far off from other places that you can go and go skiing as well. If you are more into something like downhill skiing, which I'm not, but that's me because I'm just not much of a winter person. So that's just not something that interests me quite as much, but it is still, I go snowshoeing every now and then. I do get out cross-country skiing, just not as frequently. And this year I was getting more for biking and hiking, but if you've followed anything in the news as far as what was happening in the interior of British Columbia, then you would know that there was a lot of forest fires around the area, which also caused a lot of smoke, which caused a lot of air quality advisories. And pretty much our entire summer was consumed by the fact that there were forest fires, which made my regular job quite a bit more difficult for the first little bit, because people were looking to buy houses and we couldn't accommodate people for what they were looking at getting and doing. And the other industries were kind of really pushing hard on us to get it happen, and we were the stopping block on everything. Now that the fires have kind of started to calm down and starting to getting held or under control, things will start hopefully moving along a lot smoother for that, but we'll see. Once again, this is, as seasons pass and seasons change, things change. So it's just kind of what it is at this point, and we just kind of figure it out and move on. Right now, this is going into a new school year coming up here on Tuesday as well. So the kids are going through their restart modes as well to get acclimated back into school and start just kind of moving forward with that. Being my youngest son's autistic, we're also having started a little bit earlier. So we've practiced getting our routines in place for night. So brushing teeth, having baths, getting all cleaned up and ready for bed earlier, taking away the devices on Sundays and Monday nights. So that way he gets a proper night's sleep. And then in the mornings, we wake up early, we eat breakfast, we brush teeth, we get dressed, we get out of the house. So we've been slowly practicing those over the last few weeks, where first we were just doing the night routine and then doing some morning routine stuff to kind of get everything up and ready to go. And then as we were going through that, we started doing stuff where we were getting out of the house so we could practice getting to school. So last week we practiced getting to school early, so that way my youngest could get up to the school, not into the school because they're so close to get everything prepped. So we got to the school, we walked around the school, visited the school, talked about school, and we got back down to the car, drove my oldest down to his new school, and then we walked around that, and then we walked downtown so we could show him how to move from the school downtown if he needs to, which is good because the times that he gets off school, most of the time we'll actually be able to give him a ride home afterwards, which is pretty sweet. So everyone's just kind of going through this whole restart phase right at the moment as well. And I took a bunch of time off for the end of summer so I can work on what I wanted to get working on, because right now I'm going through a pretty massive restart myself. As you can see with the new podcast and everything as well, I'm going through quite a few different things to get changed up, because I'm looking at starting my own life coaching and consulting business so I can help people out on a more personal level. We're looking at starting to get that up and running hopefully in the next couple of weeks. I got to do some revamping on the website as well. But that is kind of where we're at right at the moment with this. But yeah, everything's coming along nicely, and we're getting to do a good move forward, and everything is kind of starting to flow better, which is really sweet. So I'm really excited to get to where we're wanting to go and do what we're looking at wanting to do. It's kind of crazy. Like I don't even know where to always go. So you'll hear me fumble over my words, but like I said, it's a starting point. As you can tell by the quality of my camera, it's probably not super great on your end. It's not great on my end either. But just starting off where I can with what I have, and kind of just moving forward from there. So with this new podcast as well, it's not super new, but it's just newer-ish. We're going to be doing it every second Sunday. I was going to do it Thursday mornings, but I've decided to push it on to the weekend where my kids are still hopefully in bed for a little bit longer. And like I said, these probably won't last super long at this point, like probably half hour at the very most. And we'll just kind of work it from there and just kind of see how everything pans out a little bit better. That's what I'm expecting anyhow, is things to work out quite a bit better, and just kind of see. So with the restarts, you can do as many as you need to get to where you're wanting to go. Every day is a new start. So when you go to bed and wake up in the morning, you're doing a restart every day. So if the day before wasn't good and you wake up in the morning, you've done a restart already. It's typically about for most people, 6 to an 8 hour restart period, because obviously you got to sleep, you got to rest, you got to get rejuvenated. And once that's happened, you're now into a new restart mode and on a new day, which allows you to have, so whatever happened the day before, you just let that slide, let it go, and then you move on to what's happening on this day and what you can make happen this day. So if things didn't go right the day before, the new day, everything should go right, because that is in your control. Whereas what happened yesterday is now out of your control completely, because it's now in the past. You can't go back and you can't fix it. I don't know about you, but I don't have a nuclear powered DeLorean or a phone booth to make time travel happen. So you just got to move forward, and you just got to concentrate on today and forget what happened yesterday. And even throughout the day, if things go wrong, you just take a moment, hit that reset button, like the old Nintendo. Remember the old NES, big cartridgey thing? Some of you are going to be too young for this. And then there's a button right on the front called reset. You just hit that reset button because the game wasn't going good. You hit the reset button, it kicks you right back, and you just start over again, right from your save spot or right from the very beginning, just depending on how that game was coded. It's kind of the same thing here. When you're at work and things just aren't going very well, just hit restart and start again for the day. Start fresh. Learn from that mistake or whatever was going on, and just hit the button and go forward. That's all you can really do. That's all life is. It's just learning from something, hitting restart, going again. And sometimes restart is just stepping away from a situation and walking away for a little bit and then coming back to it. Sometimes restart is just redirecting a conversation, perhaps, or perhaps restart means, you take your lunch, go away for like an hour or whatever your lunch break is, and then come back. I know when I'm at my normal job, I take the reset as my lunch. I actually leave the office and then come back after lunch, and I feel more rejuvenated. I don't feel quite as mentally drained out typically. And if I do have a little bit of a lower energy level, I have some energy drinks that help me out quite a bit. They're just like all natural, no sugar energy drinks, just a little bit extra caffeine to give me a bit of a boost. But I come back with a clear head. It's kind of the point. Like, I've taken what's happened during the day, I've just let it go for the morning, and then I come back in and start doing my work for the afternoon. And sometimes I just concentrate on something completely different, because what's gone on in the morning might be a very big frustration, and I just don't want to deal with it anymore. So I just move on and work with what I want to in the afternoon, just completely shift my focus and start on something different. This is, like I said, like hitting restart. Sometimes, as an example, in RPGs like Legend of Zelda or Final Fantasy, when you hit restart, you just go back to your current save spot or your current checkpoint, and then you can just take a different route. So you went right, now you can go left, because right obviously wasn't the correct way, and you got lost or died or whatever it was in the game. So now you hit the restart and you go left instead, which, I mean, obviously makes a lot more sense than just hanging out and trying the same thing over and over again. Especially if it didn't work the first time. What's the point? Like, what was the point of hitting restart if you just keep going the same direction over and over and over again, when you can actually move forward in a different direction if you need to? Sometimes we don't always have that luxury of moving forward in a new direction. However, hitting like the restart button does give you the potential of seeing stuff maybe in a bit of a different view. So that way, when you do come back to it, you'll have a clearer idea and a better vision of what you're trying to do. And that way you can actually make it better and work on it better. And kind of see things how you're wanting to see them instead of how they were previously, because now you got a fresher mind, you got a clearer outlook, in a much better place to work on what you're looking to work on. That's kind of really what it is. It's just getting a clearer vision of everything. And then sometimes you have a drastic restart. If you're in business, sometimes a restart means like your business isn't working. Either you restart it to get it working properly, or you restart by closing that down and starting something different, or going from your business that you're trying to do to back to a job. It sometimes has to happen. Or if you're going from a job, you're hitting restart and starting a business. With that, I wouldn't recommend doing like a hard restart and quitting your job before your business is up and running and actually providing a some of an income. If you're married or in a relationship of any kind, that is definitely a discussion you have with that person as to what you want to do in that sense. I would not recommend any of that unless it is something you have talked to your partner about. That, like I said, everything can have a different restart. If you're working with your kids and doing things with them and things aren't going as well as you would like, hit the restart button. Start again. Like, if you're trying to teach them something and it's not going well, just restart, try again. Try teaching them in a different manner. Try to figure out a little bit more about how they operate so you can actually work with them in a different way. So when you are going back into restarting, it will work out better. Like I said, my youngest son's autistic. Every day is a bit of a new challenge as to how I'm going to teach him something. Some days we just talk, or I talk, and he listens and parrots things back, and he kind of gets it. Other days it's a lot more frustrating, and I have to help him and go through and take the time to show him. But each day is something a little bit different. So if one way isn't working, I have to stop, look at it, restart, reassess what's going on, and take a different approach. It's simple. It can be as simple as that. Some days it's maybe not going to be as simple as that. I don't know. I don't know everyone's life situations, but for the most part, it can be can be fairly easy in some regards, which is nice. I know with my oldest son in school, that was one thing that we had to really convince the teachers of as well, was stopping what they were doing to try and teach them, hitting that restart button and trying something different. Once his mom and I had found out through different testing and things through pediatricians and whatnot, and different specialists, as to his learning abilities, it actually made a lot more sense as to why we were trying to explain things to him via written word or having him read something at that point, and him not quite comprehending what was being asked of him. Whereas giving him something hands-on and visual worked really, really well for him. Like his visual and hands-on acuity was way up here, and his reading and writing comprehension was quite down here. So there was quite a big gap between the two. So what we ended up doing was we talked to the teachers about how his learning ability actually is, and they just changed their focus. So instead of writing a bunch of instructions on the board and then getting him to read it, what they ended up doing was they actually ended up working with him a little more, like giving something a little bit more hands-on, or taking the time to verbally explain it, or if they could find like a little video that explained what they were trying to do, they worked with that instead, which worked out a lot better for him. And he was a lot less frustrated, and it worked out better for them because then they were a lot less frustrated, and everyone understood what was going on. So they managed to make everything work out properly, which was fantastic for everybody, because then I was less frustrated as well with the school system, and his mom was less frustrated with the school system, because now everyone is on the same page and working kind of in the same direction and using the same techniques to work with them. Just because we managed to get the information, we hit the restart on how he was getting taught, and things have definitely improved. And it's carried over from when we first found this out back a couple of years ago, and it's just kind of carried on from one teacher to the next. So we just kind of explain it each time, because it, weirdly enough, it doesn't carry over in any kind of record, even though it should. So we just go in first meeting, like, hey, how are things going? Yep, makes sense. Try learning with like hands-on and visual learning, and you'll have a much better time with them. That's why he's also taking up like woodworking in his robotics class, because he really likes the hands-on aspects of it. Speaking of, he was trying to take all these other weird courses, which normally I would have been okay with if he had shown more of an interest in it previously, or more of an acumen towards it, which was like Japanese and Spanish class and some other classes that he's never ever mentioned anything about wanting to learn before. And kudos to him if he's wanting to learn it, but he actually admitted that he wanted to follow his best friend through all these classes. So we said, no, restart this page and let's just see what we can do and get you into proper classes. I was like, woodwork, let's do woodwork. That makes sense. Like, you enjoy woodworking, cool. I didn't know that, but that's fantastic. Let's get into that, because he's never mentioned woodworking before. The robotics class I knew about because his teacher wanted him in it, and he's really smart with robotics stuff like that. And he's taken other little classes on it before, so it made sense. So put him into the robotics class in his school, and he's been happy with his classes ever since. So I can't say that that was a bad move. It was actually a really super smart move in the end. But sometimes it's just taking a few moments just to take inventory of what's going on before you actually hit restart. And it's not even like a full restart either. It's like those games where you hit the restart button and you come back with all your stuff still. Or actually, I guess it's not even so much restart, because you should come back with all the stuff if you hit the restart button, right? It's more like, what's the word I'm looking for? It's more like those games where your stuff is persistent when you die in the game and you come back and you just have all your stuff still, or it's easily accessible anyhow, because it's just left like a little carrier, or like a little marker, so you can find it super quick. And that's what I totally lost my train of thought there for a second. But yeah, that's kind of what it is there. So it's pretty fun. I know I was working on this one business when I was quite a bit younger. Not even quite a bit younger. This is maybe going back 8 years ago. So I was definitely younger, and it didn't work out. Like I I tried a few things, it didn't work out. I tried a few other things, didn't work out. So I kept trying and trying, and it just wasn't seeming to go anywhere. So I quit eventually after a little bit, and then I did come back to it during 2020, during the start of the pandemic, because things had changed. So it was a forced restart on this case. So I went back to try and make it work. I did try a few different things with it, and I couldn't seem to get it to work. So I just kind of, and then, so with this particular restart, I discovered that because of the restart that I was going on to, I was having a difficult time getting things to kind of click. And then I just kind of discovered as the process went through, like I had to figure me out a little bit more, understand what I wanted and what I was going through. And then as I was doing so, I was able to figure out a lot more about me and what I was looking to do and what I needed. And with that, I was also able to get together the fact the company that I was trying to work with really just wasn't for me. Like that's really what it kind of came down to. And yeah, it was it just ended up being what it was. Like it just, and it was frustrating too because I really enjoyed working there or working with them. And yeah, and it just didn't end up working out the way I was hoping it would. But I did discover that because it wasn't working out the way I was hoping it would, was nothing to try to train me as well. It was actually more to do with how I felt towards some of the people in the company itself, which really wasn't anything towards a lot of the people. It was just like a select few of the people that just I had a real issue with because they just weren't people I really wanted to associate with too much anymore because of some things that had happened. So I took another restart, and I actually ended up taking some time to myself, like I said, and just sitting back, enjoying my summer, enjoying my time with my children. And then I came back to discover what I really wanted to do, which looking back at it is something I was thinking about in kind of a bit of a different light, probably 16 years ago, roughly. And now, like 16 years later, I finally figured out exactly what it is that I'm wanting to do. And it's really kind of a nice idea. Like I'm really enjoying my learning that I'm trying to do to get into life coaching and consulting and being able to help people a lot more and going into the helping field. And I'm reading the book, The Skilled Helper, and I'm just learning all these great new skills and all the stuff that I want to do. And I haven't been so excited. This is partly why I'm starting the podcast as well, is because I want to be able to bring more stuff to people to be able to help them out as well. And just different formats. Like, why wouldn't I take some time, like for 30, 40 minutes in the morning and just try to help out on a Sunday? Maybe this might help resonate with somebody for their week. I don't know. Like I just think this is a lot of fun and I really enjoyed doing it the last time. And I just really wanted to make sure that I had the time to go and take more in for people as well and be able to do this. Like this is a lot of fun to me and I really enjoy helping. So why not talk about something like this? This is actually probably one of the bigger resets I've actually done in my life, is being able to restart this, focus it in more, and be able to help people. Like this is the focus now, is being able to help people a lot better and be able to show them kind of where I'm going, which is awesome. And I'm hoping to be able to get people there to where they're going as well. But it's kind of what we're up to now, right? Is just trying to help people as we're slowly moving our way back out of the pandemic and into whatever's being held in the future. I know there's a lot of people out there who are scared and worried about what the future does hold. And that's part of the future. Like it is what it is. Like the future is always unknown until we start writing it and trying to create what we want for it. It just makes sense that people are scared about it because we don't know what we're moving into. We don't know how things are going to pan out. We don't know if there's going to be yet another new variant come down. We don't know if there won't be another pandemic next year that just happens to be something different from somewhere else. We don't know if our jobs will be back. We don't know what our jobs are going to look like. We don't know what the government has really kind of in store. We don't know a lot. Like, there's a lot of variables, and I really find that people are looking somewhere for help, and they're looking to try and get help from places, and they're trying to find people that will help them. And I want to be that person that is there to help people. It's just human nature I think it's human nature to want to help others. I could be wrong. I could be naive, and that's fine. I don't mind if I'm that person who is just naive about the whole thing, because I enjoy helping people. Helping people is what I do, and that's what I want to be able to do for people, is be able to just help them out. And if that's wrong, then I am more than happy to be wrong in that kind of case. Anyway, I have totally gone off track a little bit there as well with where I was going with all this. But once again, boom, restart that button and right back into just talking about our current subject. But like I said, you just got to figure out where you're kind of at and whether you want to keep going in that direction. Like, you can still keep going in that direction and still hit the restart button, and you'll be able to just move along and be fine with that. Because not only will you be restarting back from your save spot, whatever that might be, but you'll be restarting with more experience and more knowledge to be able to get to where you're wanting to go, which is just as good. Like, that's actually even better than restarting right all the way back in Monopoly, all the way back at Go, and don't collect that $200. So you're starting back on like square one, but you're not on Go because now you have more experience. You've been possibly around most of the board, so you kind of know the layout a little bit better. So now you know what you're looking for. You know how to try to get it. You have other ideas that you can try and work on and make work, or other avenues to try and take. So there are options for you, which is fantastic. So that's what I would say to do, is to take some of these options and kind of run with it. Anyway, I am now at pretty close to the end of my stream now. So I am going to take it from there and just say thank you very much for joining me. And I had a great time doing my restart on this bad boy. And I look forward to being able to talk to you guys all again. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take a quick look and see if there's anything in the chat. Nope. That's okay, because we're just starting out. I didn't really send this out very much, so oops. However, I figured we might as well take a look, because this is something else we're going to be trying to do a little bit more of as well, is being a little bit more interactive on the chat side here as well. I'm also looking at doing just like an audio version of of just being able to talk to people, just kind of live over, I think, what was it called? The Stereo app, which I think will be quite a bit of fun as well. Yeah, so that's kind of where we're at. I don't have anything to guide us out of the end of this bad boy. So basically what we're just going to do is we're just going to say, see you later, and we will talk to you later. Actually, don't forget, in 2 weeks, which brings us up to Sunday. Oh, sorry, my calendar isn't on monthly view, so just give me 1 second here. So in 2 weeks, we will be on the 19th. So September 19th is when I'll be live again. So look forward to that in 2 weeks. If you follow us also on YouTube, I am recording this, and I'll be able to put things up and create a little bit more fun and funky graphics for the YouTubers out there. So, or at least that's the plan. So hopefully I can get that up and running as well. I might have to upgrade my Restream studio so I can record this at the same time. Other than that, I hope you all enjoyed this, and I look forward to talking to you in 2 weeks, September 19th. I'll have a new subject, and we'll talk some more. All right. Have a great day, everyone. I'll talk to you later. I gotta go finish enjoying my coffee. See ya.